The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor your self-inner knowing and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign. I'm so happy you are here. We are the magazine podcast and community guiding 5 million women to their sovereign selves. From heart-led conversations to magical meditations, our inspiring guests will show you how they can help you step into your sovereign self. Are you ready to listen to your inner voice and step into your power? Then keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you today. Today, I have the privilege of reconnecting with Dani Devren, Sovereign Magazine's Multidimensional Law of Attraction, Manifestation, and Energy Alignment columnist. She is the soul-aligned mentor supporting women to prioritize themselves while they build personal brands that feel like home. She teaches self-discovery and social media as a spiritual practice, blending marketing strategy with mindset, identity, and how clarity, calm, and confidence all start within. She is passionate about manifesting your dream life by living in alignment with your soul's purpose and the universal laws, mentoring women through intimate experiences, and her mastermind that rise collectively and create a more connected, high-frequency world. And we must add, she's also building a village, which I'm sure she will tell us all about. Welcome back, Dani.
Hello, Nicole. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay. We are talking about growth, which is the theme for our August new moon issue. And in your article, Growth Lives Inside, you really challenge us to sit with a question. Are we actually growing or are we performing growth? Because there is a difference and your body knows it. So why don't you share a little bit more about this and why you wrote it?
I absolutely love this topic because it helped me to really reflect on what growth means to me. And I genuinely believe that nothing happens externally. It all happens within us, right? I love the universal laws as we talk about them often, but there's so much about our feelings and what shows up in our body and our self-awareness. When we think about growth, I think it gets overlooked. And actually growth isn't an external factor. It isn't about what you've achieved or what your life looks like from the outside. It's how you feel when you're doing it. Or that was my take on this article, right? Because of course, there's lots of different ways to measure success and measure growth. But I was coming at it from a real personal development point because I genuinely think we're always evolving and we should always be changing and reassessing and growing. But I believe that we should be growing internally because it's about our feelings, our nervous system, our safety, how at peace are we? Because for me, that's the biggest kind of mission, is to be really genuinely happy. And I think a lot of people forget that, or they just don't know how to be happy. So when I was thinking about growth, that was the angle that I really wanted to talk about because a lot of it is internal.
It is internal, but I want to talk about the external too, because I mean, you deal so much with social media as a spiritual practice, and we've all been conditioned, especially online, to believe that growth has to look a certain way. And you talk about how basically when we show up with polished content that you get a different version of ourselves, right? And so why don't you talk a little bit about that and the pressure that we put on ourselves for vanity metrics, one of our favorite topics on here.
So it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because of course, if we're scaling businesses online, we know we have to look desirable to gain clients. We know that if somebody wants to work with us, they need to see that we know our stuff. They need to feel as though you've got your stuff together and they are going to be able to trust your work and invest in you. However, I still stand by the fact that I don't believe social media should be your sales funnel. I don't think it should be a platform to earn money. I think it should be a platform that you use as a bit of a diary, as a bit of a genuine authority position on the internet to show who you really are. Which, of course, if you're not aligned with what you're saying you're delivering, or if you're not genuinely embodying what you say you are, right? When you have some stuff going on that could detriment your brand or your business, of course, that's going to cause some hiccups, right? But this is why I believe so much in growth being internal, and why I believe in authenticity and walking the talk and having the receipts and actually genuinely, authentically, honestly being who you say you are. So I come at it from a very social media perspective, but of course I'm talking about personal identity. I'm talking about positioning. I come from quite a close-knit online space in the UK, full of female coaches, and there's a lot of gossip and drama. And what I see is a lot of kind of performance. There's a lot of spiritual performance as well, where people claim to be healed and, alpha queens and beings, and then you meet them and they're not. And I think that's what I'm talking about. I want social media to genuinely be a place of kindness and love and friendship and community, but only if you're ready. If you're not ready, go and do the work. If you're not able to embody what you say you are, then go work on that. Get really self-aware and responsible so that you're not projecting your own wounds, your own troubles, your own trauma on other people. It is about energetic responsibility. And I'm really big on that because I've had to learn that way. And I think that's why performance and social media can feel so uncomfortable for a lot of people, because we all have things to learn. So many of us have them so deeply buried that we are performing because we don't feel that way today. So that's what my job is. How are you actually feeling? And let me help you claim your visibility and actually own it. Because visibility is so much deeper than just the external positioning, right? Why are we struggling with our visibility? Why are we struggling showing up online organically? There's so much going on, which is why this year I started hosting in-person workshops all around this, because we do a lot of journaling. We do a lot of processing and releasing so my clients can sit with it. Why do I struggle to talk online? There's so much under that. There's so many reasons why. And I guess my work is to uncover those truths, to process, to love and surrender and let it go so that you can show up and be your authentic self. I kind of say, I want to change the world one Instagram account at a time. And it's because I see so many Instagram accounts that are misaligned and they are causing pain and suffering and drama and chaos because they're projecting and they're kind of showing up with the wrong intention, with the wrong agenda. So I guess a lot of that comes from this deep, urge or mission for people to just sort their shit out, and actually be who they say they are. And if you're not ready, then stay offline. You don't have to build your business online. You don't have to perform. You don't have to create a chat GPT stream of perfection because nobody's buying it anymore, right? Nobody is buying it. And if they are, unfortunately, they're probably going to regret it because you can't deliver what you say you can. And then it all becomes an absolute battle. And that's why the industry has a bad rep. And that's why people moan about being manipulated or lose a load of money. And I just think if it starts with responsibility and genuinely embodying on the inside what you want to feel on the outside, then everything would be a lot smoother and a lot happier on social media.
It is time to rise. We are being called to stand behind independent voices, movements, and media that refuse to be owned. Sovereign Magazine has never spoken to an advertiser, a corporation, or a billionaire. We are a grassroots movement made for and funded by you. If you are ready to rise, to shatter ceilings, and to stand in your truth, do it with us. It's free. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share. Every click helps us reach more people around the globe, ready to remember who they are. Are you coming with us? Yes. Okay, let's go into steps to your sovereign self because I want to go a little bit deeper on what you just said. And you don't know what my question is, of course. So let's call this state of what you were talking about with people not showing up genuinely. And you were talking about a projection as well. Let's call them triggers for this question.
Yes.
So you talked about how in your article that people get triggered, but they rarely realize that it's actually their own values and wounds that are being unmet that are causing the trigger. So how do you help women in your world learn more about themselves, because if they are performing, right, instead of actually growing, how do you help them distinguish between the two? Because obviously they're not recognizing the signs.
So I think the fundamental way to start really understanding how you feel in situations is to pause. Right? We don't need to react so quickly. We don't need to respond straight away, because usually that comes from emotion, like an emotional reflex, an emotional reaction. It's an instant trigger for a wound. It's a reminder your brain is going into panic, danger, they've just called you out, attack. And actually, we don't need to respond like that. And I think, obviously, one of the downfalls of having access to people instantly in the last however many years of social media and technology, it's given people that lack of patience and awareness and pausing and reflection. So the biggest thing I say is pause, wait, process what this is coming up to say, process what you're feeling and why. Let's just pause and sit with it before we react and respond. So, for example, we all know that when something triggers us or activates us, and this is what I love about, yes, it's a trigger, but you're being prompted to be activated, right? What do we need to be doing? What's going on inside that we're not quite nailing or learning or shifting or releasing? So when something happens, and I do this all the time, and this is probably the biggest part of my spiritual journey over the last few years, when something happens and it upsets me or angers me or irritates me, I pause. God, why do I feel like that? What's that about? Why am I feeling like this? Oh, okay, it's because that time this happened. Or that's made me think that they think this. Or I feel they're accusing me of this. But actually, when you realize that is your own personal perception of what they've asked you, you actually don't have a clue what they could have said. And when you come into conversations with a little bit more compassion and curiosity, usually that energy can be dispersed a lot more peacefully, and you can realize that there are always different perspectives to every single situation. So that is kind of the first thing that is a really easy way, or maybe it's not easy at all, it's really hard, isn't it? For us to learn to be patient, for us to learn not to react and respond and defend and project is probably not easy at all, because we've been so conditioned to protect ourselves. And that's something that, you know, our brain only has one job, keep us safe. So instantly our thoughts go, danger, this isn't safe, attack, protect, defend. But actually, when you drop into your body and you feel, I feel anxious, I feel unsafe, I feel nervous, I feel scared, then you start to go deeper. Why do I feel like that? What is that saying about me? What of my power am I not owning? How am I, projecting my own pain and history and trauma and story and wounds onto this situation? And it doesn't need to be there, We need to reclaim our power, because all you're doing is allowing somebody else to affect and impact you. When the most highest frequency, purest version of ourselves, right? If we all want to live in this dream world, which of course is not realistic all the time, but the best thing we want to do is become so neutral that nothing affects us. We have such strong self-awareness. We have so much love and understanding on ourselves that whether someone says something good or whether they say something bad, it doesn't affect our baseline frequency. We know who we are. We have such a strong connection of self-truth that nothing will penetrate. That's the goal. But of course, we've got conditioning, we've got trauma, and we need to remember and uncover what's going on under us so that we can release that stuff. And this is why it's a constant work. Spirituality and self-development, all these things, it's constant learning. It's constantly doing uncomfortable things and sitting with your shadows. That's why it's not love, light, and rainbows. This is why I knew bringing people into this world and sharing this with people, it's healing, it's deep trauma, it's really messy and raw, and that's why I'm very open with it, because I know that while I process and reflect, that is teaching others to sit with it and do the same. And this is why I joke and I say, we all need therapy, and I keep therapists close, because actually I want to normalize it. It's hard, when we realize, wow, I really do deflect a lot, I project a lot, I'm very spiky and reactive, and all those things don't have to be there. They're just protection, it's survival. And we need to step out of survival so that we can live more in our soul self.
And this is why you're building the soul aligned village as well, right? Because in the village, this is where genuine friendship is coming into play, which is something you talk about a lot. And it is a place where all of us are going to be able to learn to grow through all of these aspects of being in relation with people, right? Not just relationships, but in relation. In my opinion, we perform differently when we are in a committed relationship, like a spouse, right? Than we do in a friendship. And when we are friends, there tends to be different, let's say, rules. And, can you be genuine? And so this is where your personal growth is important, because I have learned I show up exactly the same, whether it's a business relationship, a friendship, a spousalship. I was going to say a spousal relationship. My daughter, I show up the same because I know what my values and beliefs are.
That's it. That's exactly what the village is. It's friendship first, connection. But it really is deep rooted in ancient times, when times were simpler, when we all just gathered and we filled each other's gaps, and we didn't have so much ancestral trauma and baggage weighing heavy, and we didn't have to try and protect ourselves from judgment or being misunderstood. And it was a lot easier. So I just want to remind us that we are all divine oneness, right? We're all connected, and the world would be such a beautiful place if we can all accept each other for our differences, and to create a little bit more of compassion and kindness and be less reactive. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of spiritual growth and personal development. But yes, it's wrapped up in friendship, because I understand the real pain and struggle when you don't feel like you belong. And when you do feel like you belong, and you have people that see you for who you are and hold you in that love and relation, you can then thrive and release and kind of chill out a bit, right? Chill out. Everyone loves you here. We're friends. Hang out. Get to know who you really are and get to know each other. So it's creating that culture of safety, which is why, as I'm building it now, I'm being really discerning with who comes in, because those people that come in are my friends. They're those that I have relationships with, so that I know they feel safe. So we can start that foundation of safety and friendship and connection, so that we can build that and it grows outwards and goes global, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, if you're loving this conversation and you want more, definitely like, share, subscribe, because on the next episode, our August full moon issue, we're going to be talking about breaking open, not down, with Dani. And she's always in our community.sovereign-magazine.com. All her details are in the show notes. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with another soul-led entrepreneur here to help you step into your sovereign self. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details to connect with today's guest or join the movement are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million women to self-sovereignty.